guys, welcome to my Etsy channel. This is Nancy from nancybadijo.com and welcome to another Etsy shop critique. Today I'm going to be doing a critique on the store called Della Madonna Rosaries. So thank you, Della, for allowing me to do a review of your shop. If this is your first time visiting my Etsy YouTube channel and you are an Etsy seller or interested in starting your own Etsy business, this is the channel to be. Make sure that you subscribe. I upload weekly videos on helping Etsy sellers succeed on Etsy. So let's go ahead and get started on this video. Any tools or recommendations that I recommend, I will link all the links below this video. So if you click below this video, you'll find a text box description, and in there you'll find more than 20 links to resources that I recommend for Etsy sellers to look into and start using. So let's go ahead and get started. So today, the first thing that I normally do, right, on a review is that I pick an actual listing that I'm going to go ahead and do like an audit on. So I'm going to do an audit on this listing here. And the first thing that I always talk about is product photography. And it's very, very important that when you sell in an e-commerce platform such as Etsy, that your product photography is up to standards. You have to make sure that the photo is clear, that is cropped in a complimentary way, that when somebody's looking at the photo, they know exactly what they're buying at first glance, and it has to be an amazing photo. Keep in mind that a bad photo will prevent you getting the sale no matter how terrific your product is. You could have the best product, but if the photo doesn't do any justice to it and it's not appealing, then people will not buy. Etsy did a short survey a few months ago, and they said 90% of buyers made their decision based on the product photography, based on the listing photo. So that shows you how important it is to have a picture that when somebody looks at it, they know exactly what they're buying. There's no confusion. It's cropped in a complimentary way, and it entices the buyer to click to learn more about that product. Now, when I look at this photo, it's not cropped in a complimentary way. The rosary is getting cut off. And then when you actually go to the actual listing, the picture is a bit blurry. It's not the clearest that it could be. So therefore, what I would recommend is redoing the photo. And the color of the rosary matches a little bit too much with the background. So it's kind of dizzy and it's getting lost in the photo. So what I would do is, because the rosary has these beautiful brown tones, what I would do is just put it on top of a white, clear background. Make it as clear as possible, as simple as possible to showcase your item. Because right now it's a little the background is a little bit distracting in my opinion. I do like the fact that you tried it, like this one is a clearer picture than that one. So whenever you upload your photos, you have to look at them and make sure that you are putting the best photo as the first picture, because that's your attention grabber. That's the one that's gonna make the person want to click to learn more about this product. So you want to make sure that the first photo is the best photo. I do like the fact that you have call to actions. So you have the tap the heart if you like this item, which is great. And then you have, scroll down for description and to learn more about the listing, right? So that's awesome, because that's just a way to tell somebody, hey, did you know you could click below to learn more? A lot of people, this is their first time visiting Etsy, so they really don't know how to navigate Etsy that well. So by you adding these call to actions and letting them know that they could click below to learn more about the product, it's a great way to make them stay longer in your store. And the longer they stay in your store, browsing and looking at different listings, the higher the probability of them going ahead and buying from you. So that's awesome that you did that. This photo as well is quite blurry. Um, and then good job on the discount. That way they can receive a discount when they sign up for your newsletter. This is something that I talk about in all my videos. adding call to action. So I don't know if you got that from my previous videos or if you did that yourself, but great job for adding that to your Etsy shop. What I would do is the additional photos. This one is blurry as well. It's not that great. So what I would do is, one, make the main photo your photographer. Two, do take pictures of the rosary in different angles, but also take a picture of somebody wearing it. It's really nice when you include photos of somebody using it. That way, people could see the scale of the of what you're selling, and they're able to see what size it is against somebody wearing it or against like a common object like a nickel or something else. So it's just, you could do different pictures in different angles. Like I said, you could use the the rosary in use. You could have a style scene, which is like um, have like the background done. Like maybe you have a comedian and somebody's wearing it and using it there. So something like that, just to showcase it in different variations. A lot of people are visual learners, so if they see it in different formats, most likely they'll buy from you. So that's my first tip, is for you to go ahead and update your photos. Um, the second thing I want to talk about is SEO, also known as search engine optimization. And SEO is basically how people find your listing. So when somebody types in on the search results, whether it's Etsy or Yahoo or Google, and they type in a keyword, particular listings or things pop up on the search results, and that's how people find you. Um, the general rule of SEO is to try to use keywords that describe your product. That way you could target your target audience. You want to make sure that you don't use keywords that are too generic, and you don't want to use keywords that are too competitive. If they're too competitive, normally you get lost or you get buried in the search results. If they're too generic, even if you get found, you're not targeting your audience. Now you're just showing your product to anybody and everybody. So therefore, you might get a lot of views, a lot of impressions. We're not getting any sales. And then you want to make sure, like I said earlier, that you target your target audience. It's very important that you know what type of people your products are for and how to target those people. That way you could get more sales and grow your business and scale your business to the next level. So looking at this listing, I did an audit on it, and you do need a little bit of help in the SEO department. Um, for instance, you have Catholic groom. This is a little bit too generic keyword, and on top of that, not too many people are searching for that keyword, and that's the reason why when you use Etsy Rank, which is a free tool for Etsy sellers, you see that there's no number here or here. That's because if a particular keyword is not getting searched for by a large volume of people, it normally doesn't generate any information back. So I would first start with removing that keyword and using a different keyword. Um, this keyword here, confirmation gift, even though it is targeted towards what you're selling, is too competitive. If you were to go to Etsy.com and type in that keyword, you'll notice that there are 45,000 listings using that particular keyword. So therefore, your listing at the current moment is somewhere in the feed down here somewhere, lost. No one is seeing it. If you were to run like a Facebook ad, your cost per bid is going to be a little bit higher because there's so many people competing for it. If you were to decide, I'm going to lower my cost per bid and pay like, I don't know, 10 cents per click, which you could do that. What happens now is, because this keyword is so competitive, um, you'll still run ads, but you're not going to pop up in the first or second page of Etsy. You're going to be buried. Your ads are going to be buried as well, because there are other people willing to pay, let's say, $2, $3, $4 per click, while you only want to pay 10 cents per click. And this happens when you use a keyword that's very, very competitive. Also, if you wanted to rank organically, which is not paying any ads, and you want to be found organically, you will never be found organically with this keyword only because it's too competitive. Too many people are using that keyword. So therefore, you definitely have to go back and change that keyword. So when you look up for a keyword, make sure that you use a keyword that describes your item, that is not too competitive, that is not too generic, and that it has a good exit competition. So what I normally do with exit competition, I try to keep it below like 15,000. And with XC searches, you want to make sure they have some type of search. You don't want to use a keyword that, yeah, the competition is low, but no one's searching for it. That's why this competition is low, because no one's searching for it. So therefore, yeah, you might have a keyword that's not too competitive, but now you have a keyword that's also not driving any type of traffic to your shop. So you want to make sure that the keyword is competitive, that there is a volume of monthly searches for it, and I would try to at least get at least 1,000 volume searches per month. And then you also want the engagement to be high or very high. And what that normally means is that people are actually clicking on those type of listings to learn more about it. If the engagement is low, the competition is low, and there's no search volume every month, or it's like under 50, that means barely anyone is looking for those terms. So therefore, it's not a good keyword either. So you can make the mistakes of using keywords that are too competitive, but you can also make the mistakes of using keywords that don't have no sort of competition. So you kind of have to find the balance between those two. And what I would do is just redo your keywords again using any tool like eRank, or you could use Marmalade. And once you find those new keywords, you want to go back to your listing and you want to include the keywords in your title. Now, you put here hold for Brenda. I don't know if that's a keyword or that's something that you use. I would definitely remove that. What I would do is just have your main keyword and write a compelling title that makes people want to click on the listing description. With XC new changes for SEO, it used to be that you put all the keywords. I have it like that in my listings that I have to go back and change them. Now, with the new changes, they want you to put one keyword and then everything else is a short description of what you're buying. They don't want keyword stuffing. The reason why is because they want to make it easy for the buyer to look at what they're buying. They know exactly what they're buying, easy to read, and then that way the buyer can make an informed decision if they want to go ahead and purchase from that shop. So you want to make sure that your main keyword is in the beginning of your title. And you also want to include that keyword in the meta description, which is the first 155 characters. Meta description is an on-page SEO factor that you should put in your page. It helps people, it entices people to click to learn more about your listing description. And this is what people see when they Google your store. Let's say you get found on Google. This is the meta description here. So right now you have a whole bunch of keywords, and then you have Hold for Brenda, and then you have description, Holy Family, and 95. So this is not an enticing description of what you're selling. So you have to rewrite that. Make sure you include the main keyword and write something that's enticing, that when somebody finds you on Google, they want to click to learn more about your product. So that's the first thing that you need to change as well. And then what you want to do is that you want to take the additional keywords and you want to sprinkle them in your listing description. That's an on-page SEO factor. That way, when people are searching for your type of products and they use different terminology, like the different keywords that you have, when these queries come up on Etsy know that your shop is all about those keywords. So therefore, you'll rank higher in the search results. So it's very, very important that you include your keywords throughout your listing description as well. Make sure that it makes sense when you add them and it's in a nice formatted way when you write them. The next thing I want to talk about is listing description. And the listing description is just basically what it sounds. It's a description of what your product or service is all about. And the listing description should include how to order, what's included, size, color, shipping fees, shopping policies fees, anything and everything related to that listing. You want to make sure that you included this information because that's how people build credibility with you, and that's how they make an informed decision if they want to go ahead and close out the sale. You did a good job with your listing description. I think that you did include your story. I wouldn't include that there. There's a section, your About Me section, that's where your story should be included. If there is such a thing of adding too much of a listing description. Now, a lot of people tell me, oh, well, your listings as descriptions are long. Well, my listing descriptions are long, but I'm describing everything they need to know about that listing. But I'm not adding additional stuff like my story. I'm not adding like how I got started. I'm not adding links to my, like my Facebook page or my Instagram or social media. So you want to make sure that it's long enough that it covers, right, everything that they need to know about the listing, but not too long because now you're adding additional stuff. So the story I will remove, even though it's a beautiful story, and just add that to your About Me section. That's where it should be. But other than that, I think you did a good job of breaking down into sections. And what I would do also is have a backlink to your main page. I wouldn't add your social media platforms here only because you can't add um, hyperlinks to the listing description. Etsy doesn't allow it. So therefore it's just useless of having them there. What I would do is also I would include that in my About Me section. I would just add them here, which you do have them, so great. But I wouldn't include them in your actual listing description because it's just taking space, unnecessary space, to be honest. So that would be it for my listing description tips and suggestions that I have. The next thing I want to talk about is the curation of your shop, the overlook of your shop. I do like the fact that you have a logo that does have your name. I do like that you have a tagline, you have a photo of yourself, which is really important when you sell on Etsy because Etsy is handmade and people want to get to know you. They want to know who they're buying from. It's more of a personalization experience versus when you go to eBay, right? You don't care who you're buying from. On Etsy, you do actually. So that's really good that you have a photo of yourself. You have great reviews, so I won't speak of those because obviously your products are beautiful. I like the fact that you did do your About Me section and you have photos. They're a little bit cropped um, off the picture, so if you could redo them again and make sure they're not cropped off, that would be better. I like the fact that you have your story, you have your store policy, so great job on that. You have your links to your social media, you have a little short bio of yourself, so that's really good. And you have shipping policies done, and you have an update. I like your updates like these here because you have different photos, and it should be like that. You should have one photo and then the other photo be a slightly different version of that photo. So you did a really good job with that. I would I will update more on a continuous basis. I don't know if you knew this, but every time you update something on your shop, the person, anyone that already favorite your shop, they get a notification. So it's just a nice way of always driving traffic back to your shop. So if you update a photo a week, it's just one more opportunity of driving a little bit more traffic to your shop. So it's just a little tip that you could do. But overall, I mean, it looks good. The photos look pretty good. If I saw this photo on Etsy search results and I saw this one and this one, I could see that they all come from the same shop. And that's like branding 101. So that's really important. What I would do is work on these other ones that have different textile, like texture in the background and different backgrounds. Try to keep them all the same looking. That way you could create your brand. And that way when people see your stuff online, they could recognize that that's coming from Della Madonna Rosaries versus them thinking it's from a different shop. So these will be my tips for your store. I do like your banner. And I do like the fact that you have your website address, and your email. What I would recommend for an email is to get a professional, not a professional email, but get an email with a domain on it. So if you have a website, Della Madonna Rosaries, you should be able to get an email through your hosting plan. And you should be able to get an email that says info at dellamadonnasrosaries.com or contact us at Della, blah, blah, blah.com. It just looks more professional, and it's also better for the security of your shop. When you have Gmail, those emails are easily able to, for hackers to go ahead and hack your account. So just for safety reasons, it's better if you get your domain email versus using a free email. The domain email is protected, and they have softwares and tools in place to avoid for people hacking. So, and you can always reroute that email to your Gmail. So you can have it set up that way from your backend. But for professionalism, it just looks better than having a Gmail. And then great job on adding your social media here. And I like this that 10% of the gross goes to charity. I would put that probably in the listing descriptions if you have not included it yet, because that is a great incentive of probably somebody buying from you. I will also consider adding that as a picture, like how you did the other ones, like these. I would say, 10% of the proceedings go to charity, because that's a really beautiful thing that you're doing. So a lot of people will get touched by that, and most likely buy from your shop. So I hope that these tips help you out, Della. Guys, I'm trying to create a sense of a community where we all come together, we help each other out. So if you guys have any tips for Della, if you sell groceries or you're kind of in the same industry as she is, make sure that you leave a comment below with some tips of things that she could do. So thank you guys for watching, and have a terrific day.